Right, this is a MAXDATA Artist 600 with a Pentium 3 processor. It's actually a slot A as well, and it's designed for Windows NT and Windows 98, as you can see there. I think MAXDATA was a German make of computers, so it's not really common here. I don't even know how it got over here. They obviously used to sell them here, but I'll talk more about that machine later in the video, because I'm sure most of you probably just want to see it turn on first. So this is my setup here. Now this is my bedroom, and I've had to just tidy a few things up, but now I can show you what it's like. So just a Dell CRT monitor here, because you've got to get the feel of the times that this computer was made in, and good old PC speakers as well. Let's turn it on. Yeah, there's probably going to be a bit of flickering on the video, but I assure you it's fine for my eyes. Let's load up NT4. That's what I've got installed on here. See that it's got 384 megabytes of RAM. Now, this particular computer, it can take 768 megabytes, but I was originally planning to have a dual boot setup for it, and Windows 98 can't actually take any more than 512 megabytes. It just goes unstable. Right, see the NT4 logo. It doesn't actually go on though until I press Control Alt Delete. So I don't actually know how I'm gonna. Right, let me just leave the camera on my chest there. That's a pretty cool sound there. But yeah, the Windows 98 system can't actually really handle more than 512 megabytes. Some people say they can get it working with 768, but well, I don't think it's really worth trying. I mean, I think it depends on your system. Some might just be able to handle it, but still, it's probably going to have a load of problems because it's not designed for it. So I went with 384, 3 lots of 128 PC100, PC100 RAM. The first two I got that I was going to put in were single-sided, because I didn't realise it was going to be an issue, so I had to then get some more, which was double-sided, and then that worked, because I already had one which was taken from a Windows Me computer that I had taken it out because I'd upgraded the RAM for that. So in the end I just got two more of exactly the same, which was handy. So you're probably wondering, like, what do you actually do with like what is NT4? What's the difference? Well, it's based on the NT system, as the name suggests. The first was Windows 3.1, no, NT 3.1, yeah, and then it went to NT4, and then it went to Windows 2000, then you had XP, and every system since XP is based on NT. And I know there was a video of someone who managed to get Minecraft working on NT4, which doesn't surprise me because, well, Minecraft runs on Java, so if you can get Java working on it, then it should work. But NT4 has an advantage over 98 in that it can technically support up to 4 gigabytes of RAM, just like XP, but you'd probably have to have one of the later systems for the motherboard to actually support that amount, or you might get away with installing it on like on a PC built for XP. You might be able to install NT4 on that, so you'd still get decent specs and be able to sort of run it, although it wouldn't run very well because you're still limited by, well, 4 gigabytes is still quite low anyway for Minecraft. It was in its day, but you're also limited by the hardware that the system can support. So you're probably wondering, like, what can this run? Well, I can tell you that it can run a few games, not as many as XP. See, I've got a bunch of games in this drawer here. Ignore that. Someone just wanted to get rid of that, so they just gave it to me. Crazy Frog's good. Oh yeah, Caesar 3, SimCity 2000, Doom, got a bunch of others. Doom doesn't actually work on NT4, but it will work on 95, 98, and XP, but it won't work on NT4. In fact, let me show you. Atari. Where is it? See, if the camera actually gets into focus. Come on. Why is this not? I don't know why it's not going in focus there. The text is really tiny, but it says, it says Microsoft Windows 95, 98, ME, 2000 XP. But you can actually run it on minimum processor requirements are a 486 processor, operating at minimum speed of 50 megahertz. But then Doom pretty much runs on anything, doesn't it? But, yeah. Why have I closed the drawer? I was going to put one in to test. See, SimCity, let me put it in. See, let me open the disk drive. Disk in. Okay. You can hear that spinning up there. Oh, we got action. I'm pretty sure I had it already installed on here, but anyway, it doesn't hurt to install it again. I think I removed them all. I put it on to test it, then I removed it because I didn't want it taking up space unnecessarily. So yeah, SimCity 3000 works fine, and pretty sure 2000 works as well, but obviously not every game is going to work on here because not every game was designed for NT4. They were designed for mostly, 95, 98 ME, also known as the 9X systems. Okay, well, I don't need to go through the whole install thing. You get the picture, it works. Because that will take a while, because it's on an older computer with a slower hard drive and everything. My computer, I do actually have 2 hard drives on here, see. But this is a FAT. This is formatted as FAT because for some reason when I first installed NT4 on here, it struggled to actually install. Well, the first time I had a hard because this machine, when I got it, it didn't have a hard drive, didn't even have a power lead. So I had to get a hard drive, and I just got some old one, from eBay. But what was it? I can show you the capacity on here. Yeah, it was okay. So 6 gigabytes, but Windows NT4 won't install. The boot partition can't be more than 4 gigabytes, I think. I mean, I've heard people can get it working on higher ones, like technically NT supports up to 7.8 gigabytes, but I don't think the boot partition can. A secondary, it will support a second hard drive up to that capacity, but the boot hard drive, I believe, has to be 4 gigabytes or below, even though the NTFS file system does support, higher than that. I'm not sure. I'll probably end up trying again because I'm a bit more. I've got more of an idea of, what this is capable of now. Because I'd never used NT4 before. I'm pretty sure as a FAT file system, I don't think it can go above 2 gigabytes. If I'm correct, I'm pretty sure that's what I read. So what I did is since I didn't want to waste space, I just got another hard drive which was at 2 gigabytes, which was perfect. But yeah, I'll have to have another check. But yeah, this machine, when I got it, it worked for a while. The disk drive sort of was struggling to open and close, but it would read it if you got it in. It got to the point where I actually had to force it open using a paper clip. The little pinhole that you could put in to override and force it out. Obviously, I didn't want to be doing that all the time, so I actually managed to buy a new. It was a new hard drive. Well, supposedly, I'm pretty sure it was. It was a new old stock one, which you saw. It's got the black volume slider, which kind of stands out on the beige color. So I was thinking maybe it was a mistake or something, which is why they still had them in stock. Another thing that happened was the actual power supply unit died after a few weeks, and I was thinking, as the whole PC died, but luckily I thought I gathered that the PSU tends to be the first thing to go. So I did test it, without it connected to the motherboard, it still wouldn't turn on. So I managed to get an old PSU, which, it was designed for Pentium 4 system, but it was still compatible. I just didn't use the P4 connector, so it started working again. Another thing, when it got delivered, the slot A, because it's a Pentium 3, but it's a slot A, and it had come out of the motherboard, and I was wondering if it was even going to work, but luckily it did when I put it in. But then, yeah, that's when I got the issue with the power supply after using that for a few weeks. Now, I don't really like talking money, but well, for I don't think I'm gonna mention prices, but let's just say it's, when you're spending nearly £200. I mean, it wasn't as much as that. It was it was 175 £100, and that was without a hard drive, without the system installed. You know, I mean, it's clearly come from a company, and it ended up at a computer repair shop or something, and then obviously they were trying to sell it. I mean, personally, I think it was not really worth. I think it was worth 150 at most in the state it was in, because I still ended up having to buy a new disk drive. I had to get some. You can't buy a new PSU for it because they're not sort of compatible. The power ratings are different. So I sort of got one that was not too old, but that was still likely to work. I mean, you got to be careful with power supplies. Getting old power supply units is risky as well. But it's working now, which is the good thing. Okay. You know, that's the main thing. But I mean, I still need to check some stuff out on it, because I find it interesting, because it's, there's the shutdown sound. It's basically just the reverse startup sound. I have to check it out some more, really, because you'll see that. Now it's safe to turn off your PC. You have to hold the button to turn it off. Now, I'm going to show you this here. This is a Windows 95 PC, which I got. Now, well, I've already mentioned the price for that one, so I might as well mention the price for this one. This was a bit more reasonable, although more expensive. This was £200, although the guy originally he was asking for like 230, and I was watching it, and you know, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to spend that amount, and then he offered 210, and I still didn't. I was still thinking, you know, it's quite expensive for something that could break, you know, after a week and never work again. It's a gamble, really, and I wasn't sure if I wanted it, but I just thought, you know, I made a counter offer I said, you know, 200, and it's a deal, and he accepted that. I mean, it did come with the Windows 95 disc, installation disc, and like a few CD-ROM games and stuff. So, you know, it was that was probably about right. Still expensive, but you know, at least it works. And I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there is sun damage there as well. So it's not like it was in pristine. You know, there's quite a few marks. It's not like it was in. You know, that's the main thing that you can see. Although the light at the moment sort of hiding it a bit, but there's quite a bit of sun damage like there, and that stick is sort of coming off a bit. So it's not like it was in pristine condition, but it works. So let me turn this monitor on now. This, I know it's an old widescreen monitor. It was from an old computer of ours. Now, I've only got this because it's got inbuilt speakers, which means I don't have to bother trying to put some by the side. I know it looks funny, so it's not ideal, but it will show you it working. So let's turn it on. Yeah, I know it's not exactly a proper desk here. I mean, it shouldn't really be here, but it's just here for the moment. So I've got to press Control-Delete. Got to press it again, apparently. Oh no, it is coming on. Yeah, I know it's sort of stretched out there, but it will go to the normal aspect ratio when it turns on. But yeah, if you want to get into like getting old computers, I would be careful like who you get them from, and don't spend too much because you never know what you're gonna have to do to it. Like, it's at the point. Got to be silent for that. It's at the point that you've got to be careful because computers, obviously, they've got so many different parts. It's not like buying an old a games console like a Nintendo 64 or an NES. You know, they sort of just, they either work or they don't, but they're a lot simpler, so they tend to be alright. Whereas computers are very, they're, I suppose you could say they're a bit more sensitive. See, these are a bunch of the games that came with it, but I've got the discs somewhere else. Lemmings. I mean, I could even connect this to the internet if I wanted to, but it's a bit dangerous. It's got an Ethernet port on the back. Yeah, there isn't really much to show on this at the moment. I mean, it's just it's Windows 98, which is, you know, a bit before my time, just like NT4, but I find it interesting. This is OSR 2.5 actually, so this is still sort of a bit further from what it originally was. This is closer to 98 really than 95, even though it is Windows 95. But this actually, you know, it came with the hard drive and stuff. And that's something I should have mentioned, actually. So it was worth more, but, you know, it's still... you know, when I say 200, that's without the postage cost. I mean, the postage costs like nearly £20. So it's quite a bit. And I'm not getting any more because this was the last one I got. Because I got, after getting that NT4 one, I did get a Dell Dimension one, Dell Dimension PC, which I'm still sort of working on that. I had to do a few things for that, but that was cheap. That was literally £50, you know, and then whatever the postage cost was. But yeah, you know, that's a more reasonable price for something that might not actually work. Although I'm not saying these should be £50. I mean, they are older and rarer. Because the unfortunate thing is, a lot of places used to just chuck these away. I mean, it's amazing. Like people used to just chuck them away, and some people will probably be very unhappy to hear that, you know, my dad's old computer, like, which was that used to run Windows 98, the first version, had like a Voodoo 2 card, but like it broke, and he got rid of it, and like there was a Voodoo 2 card in that. Obviously, he wasn't aware of that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's probably something simple like the power supply unit. I bet if we still had that, I could probably fix that. But, you know, it's gone. You can't undo that now. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that with that computer, the sound card that came with it wasn't compatible with NT4, so I had to buy a Sound Blaster. And also the graphics card that came with it was, I think it was a GeForce 2, which wasn't bad, but I wanted something a bit more, bit older, more compatible with the kind of games I was going to play. So I got a Matrox Millennium 2 and then a Voodoo 2, which, you know, that's what used to be on my dad's old computer. I don't know what the 2D card was that he had on there. I know it was a Voodoo 2 though, for the 3D card, because I remember the loop-through cable. Let me show you guys, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, the loop-through card. You see, you've got the VGA cable, and then you've got the loop-through lead there, which, you know, it just comes out the Matrix Millennium 2, goes into the Voodoo 2, then the Voodoo 2 comes up to the monitor, because it used to just do the 3D stuff. Now, I'm running out of time on this camera because, unfortunately, there's like a thing that the European Union did. Well, it's like a tax on video cameras, so if you've got a normal camera which can do videos, it doesn't allow you to do more than like half an hour. Well, that's not even half an hour on here, it's more like 27 minutes something. So I've literally got 1 minute 40 seconds left. So I'm gonna turn this off. I might do some more stuff with it, maybe. Old hard drive. Yeah, this video is more of a hint as well to what I'm going to do later this year, because it's going to be the 25th anniversary of Windows 98, which that is the system I grew up on. I'll talk more about that in another video, which I will make nearer the time. But yeah, I just wanted to show these two. I'm not trying to boast or anything, but I just think it's pointless having these if no one can, if they're just sitting here. No, it's not like anyone else can really see them. I think they're just interesting, especially NT4. I'm gonna do a lot more testing on that and probably try reinstalling it and seeing what's up with it. Right, I've got 25 seconds left on this video. So, I tell you what, I might as well just let it run. We'll turn that off. Oh yeah, see that? Windows 98 does, in fact, support the wheel. Yeah, I was testing that the other day. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.